I've been building in Minecraft for about 12 years now, and naturally over that time, I've had periods of burnout and, on the opposite end, bursts of inspiration and motivation. I was thinking to myself one day, if I'm having a low creation block, why not venture outside to find possible new shapes, architecture styles, landscapes, and more to reinvigorate and jumpstart a fresh outlook for our cuboid creativity. In this video, I'm going to do just that. Join me as I show you aspects of my home country, Australia, and bring a hopefully fresh view to the building I know and love. Let's get going. So for the pilot episode of this series, this is actually going to be a place that I have been to before. I have been there as a kid, and I think I've been there when I was a little bit older as well. But I know there's some gorgeous old traditional Australian buildings that have been preserved there, and they would look amazing in Minecraft. And I just want to show you all the location. So it's going to be a really great intro to what I intend to do. And I think we're going to have a little bit of fun with it. Even this town in itself is honestly a bit of inspiration. This is all very much being kept the same for probably the last 20, 30 years. I don't know how much has changed at this point. Welcome to Coal Creek. They've got the train under maintenance. That's unfortunate. It's a really cool train.
The sun's in the perfect position to just be right in the way of all the sign work. Perfect shadow casting time.
It's okay, we got one in our hands too. That's fine.
There's many mining towns around Australia though. Lots and lots of mining towns.
And I want to go see them. That makes me excited.
Cooper Pedy.
It's a
the
very
opal
long way
mine.
I could have sworn it was like... It should... That's what it is.
Double click?
Double click.
But I thought double click was to stabilize. Hello.
Here, I'll give you the camera. Stuff like this would honestly be really cool to build in Minecraft. This is why we came here. These kind of really old, beautifully textured buildings that have obviously been through quite the time. You got the lovely wood, has the patterning below. It's wonderful. Oh, look through the windows. Do you see the spinning wheel? Look at the spinning wheel, it's going. You can't really see it, but it's there, I promise. Oh, we get to go inside. Let's go. Oh, it even smells old.
Ooh.
It feels like the scale of this should be so much bigger than it is. It's the old
projector, the old projector.
Yeah. Film rolls, anything you want to put on there? Now, I don't think I can build that in Minecraft, but...
The old reels.
There's a little train. I don't think that was there when I was a kid. Imagine using this kind of stuff.
I could do it.
Now, this is something that could be cool. Something you don't see a lot is actually these types of structures. I still think this would be quite tricky to translate though. As much as this would be really cool, quite difficult except unless you increase the scale of it as well. Really old train carriage. Surprised it's still going. This is what a starter base is. And this is kind of along the same vein as if anyone's seen my Empire series, I made a starter base that was very much inspired by stuff like this. This is really cool. The old wood smell is unparalleled, you know.
It's lovely though.
Oh my gosh. That's completely made out of wood, and I'm surprised there's anything left of it. Look at that.
Traditional log trolley. That's seen some termites in its time.
Lots of wheels back in the day.
Lots of wheels.
Kind of wonder if any of this still works. That would be fascinating. Obviously not the log trolley, that's seen better days. Used for separating grain from chaff.
Oh, the old Rocky machine.
The Rocky machine.
I'm pretty sure it rocks, doesn't it?
I don't know.
No, I might be getting confused with something else.
Before. It could be. That's very colourful.
Very colourful. Paint your wagon.
It even had yellow on there at one point. Look at that, it's coal. Still a bunch of coal there. Wow, those minecarts have definitely seen better days. Wow. That is gorgeous. You've got a beautiful blue. Something like this I feel like would be hard to translate though, because we have quite a few archways that they've created in amongst the pillars, which I kind of am already doing in my builds. But something I am picking up on all this different architecture, for one, is that the roofs are actually quite rusty. So they've got that brown tint to them, kind of all spread throughout. And that's something that I want to bring into what I create here today. Doctor and surgeons. This is what a doctor's office looked like back in the early mining town days. Got all of the bookkeeping records in there, and look at how many little bottles and things that they have.
What's in the drawer?
Oh, he wants me to find out. Nothing.
Exciting.
Nothing in the drawer.
Moods, phosphorus pills. I got your forehead in there, I just realised.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. Nice little walkways like this with red leaves. Can we have red leaves in Minecraft? Can we do that?
Are there no red leaves?
There's no red ones. We don't have autumn colours.
Oh.
We have pink now. And we have grey. Okay, they've stuck a bank on the back of the doctor's building. Interesting. This is the building that I think I might actually make. I think it's quite adorable. It's quaint. You've got also the drapery, the great drapery bargain distributor right next to it. Absolutely stunning pieces. Double doors. Now the diagonal entrance isn't really something that I accounted for. That would be a challenge. But I think this is lovely. Something I have to take note of is that there's kind of a gradual slope to that roof, but it is quite worn down, so that could be fun to try and emulate. And then what about this building over here? I know this seems like kind of bland in comparison, but I love all the different shapes that are in that one. Now this is how I would try and lay out my buildings in general, is with different segments. It helps to break it up and create that continuous interest to it. Not only do we have the different segments, but the chimney also breaks it up as well with a different texture with that brick. The windows are beautifully spaced out. You have these wonderful supports on the triangle roof, and you've even got little triangles in the roof itself. And a set of chimneys. They have a lot of chimneys on this building, I'm working out. Or that could be more for ventilation than anything. No, this is not a room I expected to be inside this building.
Oh.
Yeah. This is a courthouse.
Hear ye, we stand here today, trial, PearlescentMoon.
Sometimes you gotta wonder, how long ago was it that the last feet stood in those areas? Does anyone else ever wonder that when you come to a museum? This is our old telephone.
Here we go. Hello, I'd like to make a call. You gotta be someone. Who are you? Who's on the other end?
Ring, ring. The doctor's office is calling, my dear. You called for an appointment?
Yes, I need my nose hairs trimmed.
That is not for a doctor's office. You need to go to a barber.
Well, I guess then I'm gonna go see a barber.
Oh, yes, your nose hairs are quite long, my dear.
I hung up on you.
You hung up.
I hung up on you.
You hung up on me. How dare. Well, I wasn't the old lady. What are you pointing at me for? And then around the side here, we've got yet another little balcony section, adorned with the gorgeous triangle roof display. What is actually in this side? I think we have the other side of the courtroom over here. There you go, now we're on the other side of it. We'll go around the outside of the building. Okay, so we've got another little piece jutting out back here. You guys know me, I'm quite actually fond of this palette. Oh, little wagons. Oh, this is wonderful. Now, wagons is something that we all want to make in game. Little horse and carts. And you can see all the details. Look at them. Maybe I'll just make a little stable with a bunch of horse and carts in it. Look at that. That's a cart I feel like is much more Western-like. It's got its cover on top and its two giant wheels on the bottom. Hey, this one's got a picture of it being used. 1920. Well, it's built in 1920. And this is a cute house. Poowong, National Bank.
It's a bank.
1900 in Poowong. This is a cute little building.
The windows are all blacked out, sadly.
I can't see inside.
You can't see inside. They're hiding the bank from us. All the money, all the bags of cash.
You know, when we build, and it comes to chimneys, we usually put little pots on top of the chimneys to make it look like it's the end of the smokestack. And this is the first time I've seen a chimney that looks like it has a little pot on top.
Ah.
It just looks like a little pot. So look at that, accurate detail. Very cool. Unfortunately not running right now, but it used to. A little street of tiny little buildings. I could make that. Oh, it smells so old. That old smell, it's
They
back.
all have that old smell. It must be the wood.
So even if I walk into these places and goes, you know what, this stuff was used by somebody at some point. It had a person in those shoes, it had a person using these tools, and a person sitting on that seat. Hey, this is the hairdresser, the appointment that you said you needed.
I do need a haircut.
No, you needed your nose hairs plucked.
Well, that too. I need all hairs, nose and head.
No, this one smells like paint.
It does. It smells freshly
Paint and wood.
coated. All the tools on the wall.
This is right up your alley, isn't it?
Oh, this is definitely up my alley. I've always wanted an old kind of shed just full of knickknacks.
There you go, folks.
Hi.
Good, thank you.
Just about to close up, and you can come in and have a look if you like. Because the general store was like the old-fashioned supermarket in the old days.
Yeah.
You come here to buy whatever you wanted, pretty much. They didn't sell meat, they didn't sell milk, or they didn't sell bread as a rule.
Yeah.
Because they were done by other shopkeepers, so they didn't want to cut those people out. Nothing made out of plastic, clocks and cameras and all sorts of things. Along the front here we have little cups and saucers. In the day, and it's not all that long ago, when you went to someone's house, they gave you a cup and saucer to drink out of.
They don't do it
nowadays-
these days.
No, they give you a mug, yeah. But here the men's cups were usually a little bit bigger than the ladies, and that's my special cup there. Seen one of them before?
No, what is that?
No.
That's a moustache cup, so
Oh.
I can drink.
And it doesn't get in your
Doesn't get me moustache wet.
Oh.
Yeah, and then we got the old record player here, old gramophone.
Yep.
So they could probably sell these. If they didn't have them in stock, they'd order them in for you. And probably a few records, the old gramophone records.
And this one still works?
This one still works,
Wow.
and you can still buy the needles for them. Each time you play one of these, they recommend you put a new needle in.
Okay. Every
So it
time?
does- yeah, every time.
Wow.
Yeah. I've just changed the needle, and I've only played it once, and I didn't play it all the way through, so I'll put it on again and play it, and then I'll change it again the next time. So we turn it on there. It's got speed control.
Yep.
So that's it, it's going a little bit too fast here, so you just
Make sure you get the right
speed
tempo.
control. It's got like what they call a governor inside the mechanism. So you can do this if you like. You can have a go at doing that if you like.
All right, let's see your attempt.
Probably terrible at it.
Yep.
Oh, very nice. All right, let's see.
And before that, of course, they had the quill.
Oh, now that seems like an actual tool.
Hundreds of years old, you know, and they still work all right. You just sharpen them up with a sharp knife.
This
Yeah.
one the other way. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's quite easy to write with, actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's Paula, is it?
Pearl.
Pearl. Oh, that's your
Yeah.
name,
Yeah.
I think.
All right, so do a little, just a
You
standard.
give it a shake too, because it sort of holds too much ink in one way.
Oh, and so it just blots
Yeah,
out.
that's right, it'll blop.
That's a bit more scratchy, you can
That's
hear
not
it.
too bad, is it?
No, but it still works,
Yeah,
doesn't
That's
it?
right, yeah. The point is actually where you start your letter.
Okay.
That's it. Very good.
Not
Well
bad.
done. Oh, you could go back to the old days.
Oh,
no worries.
easy.
Lovely.
Put in your order, and they'd write it all down in the docket. It might be a big order in the grocery section. £2 of sugar, so much a pound. £1.5 of tea, so much, so much. Big long list of things, and it's put in there, and they pull the handle, and that goes up to the cashier's office. It wouldn't happen in a store this size. There'd be bigger stores with a counter for each section: the men's wear, the ladies' wear, the hardware, the groceries.
Yeah.
And they'd all have one of those things. All right. So the cashier adds it all up,
Yeah.
works out the cost. If the money's in there, they'll put the change in, but with groceries, you probably do it in 2 sections. So it goes up there, you're told how much it is, you give them the money, and the change comes back, and the change is in the little jar here. Oh,
Yeah.
come down. Oh, and if you're going shopping with mum, some lollies in there for the kids as well.
Oh, how wonderful.
So that's 1950,
Yeah.
made out of Bakelite.
Yeah.
This one here, 1850, the same type
Wow.
of thing, but a different sort of setup. And you just hold them up to their eyes like that, that's upside down. They didn't have colour photography, so they were coloured by hand.
Wow, okay. Lots of detail.
That's for focus, so you move it either up or down for focus. That's set pretty right for my eyes, which are pretty standard.
That's pretty.
They're made up, because you can see the way they're done at the back there.
Right.
So when you hold the black and white picture up like that, you paint all the colour in.
Oh,
so that when
right,
you turn
yeah.
it around there.
That makes
so that
sense.
way
So it
colour.
shines out different ways.
It's so clever.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing.
It's fascinating.
Thank you so very much, Perry.
No problem.
So, I'm not a vlogger and I kind of messed up the buy clip to Cold Creek. Yeah, let's go home. I'm now back home and Minecraft is here, ready and waiting for me. It is time to take my observations from my trip into the game and adapt. When designing a build, I'm looking at the environment, the composition, overall shaping that makes up that composition, the colors, and how well all of that together might translate into our favorite blocks. Now, I won't be creating a full custom landscape in this one, so I've picked a savanna that I feel resembles some part of the Aussie surroundings. The grass is dry with a bit more of an olive undertone, so it should contrast pretty nicely with the build. However, it is vanilla generated and a bit messy to build on, so I'm going to create a smoother slope and even add a mini hill sharp cutout where the natural hole existed. A little bit of stone will fill that in wonderfully. With my land all cleaned up, I'm dipping into my reference point to start laying out my foundation shape. For this, I'm going to use placeholder blocks so I don't get too distracted by trying to pick a palette right away. This keeps the focus entirely on the shape and allows my brain to pick apart sections one at a time. I'm using this building here and eyeballing where each room roughly may have gone to create the plan while basing the size around being player scale and survival friendly. We've got the big room at the very front as a longer rectangle, and that then transfers into at least 3 or 4 smaller offset rooms with the entry doorway. When I get into building from references, I take elements fairly lightly and really just don't stress myself out by replicating it, but rather taking inspiration and going with the creative liberties that my brain desires. I personally find it more fun and way less restricting that way to let my spark decide where it wants to go. With that said, I try to knock out window holes where they correlate in the original building while increasing that wall height to my desired point to make sure we're at least keeping recognizable elements in the right spots. But I also decided to add another room on the right hand side where otherwise it'd feel super flat in Minecraft. If I had more trees or other buildings next to it, I would have let that pass normally. But when translating buildings into Minecraft, sometimes you just gotta add a little bit of extra things to it, you know? For the roof, I'm mocking it out using iron blocks that ensure it's contrasting from the walls. If the shape is off, I can see it a lot easier that way. The reference that I'm using had a fairly steep roof for the main section and supporting smaller slope pieces for any door entryways, so I'm going to try my best getting those kinds of angles. As a bit of fun, I'm adding a small garden or crop bed on the right hand side. There's a little bit of drop off in the terrain, so this will keep it feeling solid while also creating some fun elements of nature and survival in one. I really do love me some greenery, so naturally I'm going to use any excuse I can to add it in. You'll find that out. Now that I have my sheet mocked out, it's time to lay out the base colors. The reference I'm pulling from has tones along the lines of terracotta for the roof and trims, and then a reddish cream hue for the walls. I'm pulling in the brick for the chimney out the front, terracotta blocks to match the placement on the real building, but for the walls I've opted for more of a birch and oak combination so as to still keep a wood texture and contrast to the trims. Polished granite comes in as a lining for the garden bed to create another degree of separation while also keeping the red-based hue in our color palette. Seeing as the windows have that white framing in the reference, I've opted to go for pale oak trap doors detail-wise, supported by some jungle wood within the window base. And now with that first pan of detailing, as you guessed it, the next phase is the detailing. This is where it all comes together, and is honestly possibly one of the harder parts of making a build in Minecraft. It's what decides everything. In this case, rust is visible within the building's roof line, so I'm going to add some extra texturing with packed mud, granite, and copper. All of these will pair quite nicely with the terracotta while adding some visual depth. I've got decorated pots for kind of what appears to be air vents on the roof peak. Wasn't really sure what they were, took a bit of a guess. And then I added some stair detailing for the odd structural triangles and delved into roughening up the chimney all the same. After plotting for a little bit with the original color palette that seemingly matched my reference more, I decided to add on the pearl effect and took some creative liberties. Contrast-wise, the build was a bit lacking, so I added in an upper oak wood trim, changed the window details completely to jungle, part of the roof overhangs into spruce wood, placed a line of composters directly below the roof, and filled in the garden beds with a bit of greenery. And well, the water feature that I've added here on the right was just a fun addition to break up the terrain a little bit more from the desaturated grass, where I was also able to add in a little bit of moss to green it up even more. The fun part about moss is it does not get affected by the biome, so it's just a great grass replacement if you're really having trouble with that. Yet still, the build was lacking. After all of that detail work with the roof, I completely replaced it with mangrove planks. With how desaturated the surroundings are, I just felt it needed a deeper contrast with a better pop. You know, I love pop. You just gotta have a pop of color. It's great. After that roof change, I became so much more happy with the exterior, and that made it time to move on to the interior. It is supposed to be survival friendly after all, so it's not going to be an empty shell. One of the hardest parts probably about making a build is making a really cool outside shape to it and then realizing you've made the inside just completely awkward to deal with. And in this case, it keeps up with that. So I've got to divide up the space properly to get started. The base reference had this large courtroom at the front, so I'm going to follow through with that and keep it as such in Minecraft, dividing up the rest of the space into the previously mentioned smaller rooms. Decor-wise, I'm going to keep it fairly standard with decorative shelving, plants, paintings, rugs, and tables. I have made sure to include a bedroom to avoid phantoms, where it's pretty cozy with the armor stand display to the side. You know, some of us like to keep our very first set of armor as a bit of a memento to the start of the world. Do you guys do that? I do that. It's kind of cool. Now, no base is complete without a little kitchen, so I go with some darker grey blocks so as to not blend with the walls or floor, and then add in the fridge, stove, and even a brewing stand as a coffee maker. Wait, never mind, scratch the fridge. I'm looking back on it and somehow I missed making one despite that being one of the first things that I usually add to a kitchen in a Minecraft build. Well, we can all just imagine one there, yeah? Yeah, that'll do. Moving up the stairs, this back room can work pretty nicely as a library of sorts, the kind with books and paintings strewn about, the kind we may call organized chaos. However, I've also decided to think about a cartography style room by adding a little table in there. To warm up the room, on top of my usual plant decor, I felt a rug would go nicely underneath the table, where we can use a new detailing style with leaf litter around the edges as a pretty cool pattern. I absolutely love this little trick, it's awesome. Now we move on to the big main room. I may have been putting that one off till last because I honestly was not sure what to do with it. Quite a bit of shuffling of blocks were had in this one. First off, I struggled with the palette inside a little bit and eventually landed on dark oak for the ceiling. I needed that contrast pop yet again from the walls to bring a bit of warmth into it, and I reckon it works pretty well. Fun fact, I'm not the biggest fan of dark oak, but every now and again I'll use it in a build and it works. I think I like it here, you know? Space-wise for this area was again another struggle. I attempted to utilize the layout of the original building's courtroom layout, but it ended up just feeling a bit awkward. I opted instead to scratch that plan and realized that a survival base needs a storage room, so a storage room it is. It felt pretty cozy with the chests up the sides of the walls, a big open walkable space in the middle, and even some nice sitting tables to the side. And with this room in, the interior is all sorted. Up into the outside, as a one last effort for this build, I wanted to make some supporting trees. I went with the classic Aussie original, the gum tree. Oddly made out of walls instead of full wood blocks to give it a little bit more of a spindly vibe for the scale that I'm going for. And with a few small stone decorative walls added around the place, I'm gonna call it done. There was a lot of back and forth in the building of this house, but you know what? It's quaint, it's cozy, it's homely, and it's looking fabulous. I'm very happy with it. Such small things can change a build so much. And that even includes the fact that you can see like the inspiration and the direct like pieces from my reference in the build, but it has very much my own personal touch to it. And you know what? During the video, I didn't really kind of go around to the back of it too much. So let me do a little bit of a fly around here. Look at all the details. This little detail, like the little triangle details in the actual structure I was building from had these like really intricate little pieces in there. So I tried to emulate that. Further going along the back here, we have a nice little crop garden that I added in. This cool little roof overhang, but it's all detailed. I didn't leave it bare. It's not a situation of Pearl didn't finish the back. It's all there and looking really, really nice. Let me show you the inside though, properly piece by piece. So here we go. We have the front door overhang here and it opens up into probably like a bit of a coat room or a place where you can hang up your coats and dust your shoes and all that kind of good stuff. Then you keep walking on through. And you've got the initial room here, which is, I suppose, more of your utility room. Your stone cutter, your anvil, your smokers, all that kind of good stuff in here. You turn to the left and, well, you've got a bit of a limbo room. Doesn't really have anything in here aside from being a bit of a transition space between my little areas. Over here straight ahead, we've got the bedroom tucked off to the side and that extra piece I had added. Turning around, heading to the right-hand side is where the kitchen without a fridge is. I cannot believe I forgot to add the fridge in there. It would go in that spot right there. It's a perfect spot for it. Anywho, that's what I've built. That's what I'm sticking with. Moving on up the stairs, we have the library and cartography room. Looking pretty fantastic in here. Got some greenery up the top, plenty of storage spaces, the glorious rug on the floor, and all that kind of goodness, and even has a little door out to the back here that you can get access to the crops. Moving back down through the kitchen and turning to the right, we have the storage room, the really big storage room. That was probably the biggest struggle of this build, is figuring out how to decorate this oddly shaped room. But I reckon it came out great. Again, we've used the nice rug in there. It's looking amazing. Plenty of spaces for storage. Nice little space to sit with your friends. But overall, this is a pretty cool and interesting first experience going out into the real world, making a video like this, coming back home, and then building whatever this is. I reckon in a sense, I'm going to call this a starter base. It's a nice home. 10 out of 10 would build it again. With this video being kind of the foray into this style of content, I'm really curious what you all think. Did you enjoy it? Did you like the format? You know, let me know down in the comments below and maybe we'll do it again. Who knows? I'm gonna full admit I maybe started this video a very, very long time ago and I'm only just finishing it now, but potentially there may be room to prioritize it in the future. Oh boy. Thank you all so very, very much for watching, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed it. And with that said, I'll catch you all in whatever the next video may be. My pots are disappearing and my signs. Oh, my detail is leaving me. And so are you. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Boop.